allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, on roll call, Mr. Bartlett. Here. Mrs. Brown Knight. Dr. Lewis. Here. Mrs. Rankin.
Here.
Mr. York.
Here.
All right. Now, as you can see, Kate Albert is just going to be a teeny bit late. I'll work her in just as soon as she gets here. Let's go on to the minutes. Any question regarding the minutes from the June the 12th meeting? Everybody's read it over?
Read it over.
Looked it over? Mm-hmm. All good? Well, all right. A motion and a second to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis? Aye. Mr. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right.
Kelly, you have a lot of microphone going on over there. You got a press conference happening
I want
this
to
side.
be heard.
All right, in communications, we have that letter from the MPF regarding their grant request. That was to pay for the Kleinger's group study of Dogwood Park,
Right.
which I believe we're having the,
Thursday?
is it Thursday? It's coming up here, right?
Is it
Yep.
next week, the 7th? Or is that different?
Yeah, Thursday the 6th.
Thursday the 6th.
And what is that?
Their they'll be here for the initial meeting.
Who's they?
Kleinger's.
Okay, thank you, sorry.
And I cannot make that, but,
Correct.
yeah, okay.
And that's here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 7/6.
All right, well, anyway,
I might be able to hobble.
those who
What
can make it, it'll be nice to have you there, of course. All right, we have the correspondence from Michelle Harlow. This is from the Board of Elections, and this is regarding the correction of the one ordinance, the tax ordinance that we passed. I guess the wording was somewhat incorrect. We have the corrected one that we will be passing tonight. If you have any questions?
So this will all work out, okay.
Well, I think so.
It will, yet. When Richard left, he prepared it saying for renewal for 24, 25, 26, 27, and 28. And it should have been 23, 24, 25, 26. But Joni really did a bang-up job of getting that straightened out. She really did, because I tell you, there's a lot of hoops you have to jump through when you're dealing with the county government. So we got it all done, as long as we get this passed today. Then you get it over to them, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
It will be on emergency. Okay. All right, the financial recap for the auction items for the Centennial, the art auction that we had. Randy, you want to give us a little quick?
So we contracted Kate to do the artwork, and we had an auction, so the proceeds for the auction was $18,000. Less expensive, net to the village was $16,000, which we got a check for. So the total cost of the prints and the commission was $11,000. So the net of all that was $4,485. We still, those prints that are listed on the bottom are prints that we own, that are part of what we paid that we'll sell in the proceeds. I think we've sold 6 cents, something like that. So, and moving forward, we'll get half. That's how the arrangement is we get half of all them we sold. I know she did Summer Fair and she sold 3 out there, which is good.
Yeah, it was good.
So it makes it, these are non-Mariemont folks that are buying them, so that's really cool.
Yeah, it's nice.
So these are sold through MPF, but the proceeds come to us?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, is it to us? Because this says to Centennial account.
Well, yeah, to our Centennial
Well,
account.
yes,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so okay.
Our,
That fund, I guess there was a fund.
Yeah, we've
The
set up
village, the Village Centennial.
the Village Centennial Fund.
Okay, got it. Which is different from the NPF Centennial Fund.
Yes, it is.
It's alphabet soup.
All right. All right, then, also from Councilman York, we have the MPA Program Grant Partnership application, which which I know all of you have read through.
Completely and thoroughly.
Okay. Randy, you want to give us a little overview of this?
Well, Steve John sent this to me a week or so ago, and it's interesting. So Steve sent it to me, and then this is one of the grants that Chris Dalton, who is the chief of staff for Greg Landsman, thought would be really appropriate for our park renovation as part of the Centennial. So I called Steve on last Friday. I said, Steve, give me some guidance on this. What do you think? And he said, Randy, we sent this to you because of the Centennial. So he believes that, and what it is you work with an MBA program where they'll write the grant. That's what all this is. So you agree to work with them to write the grant. And he's the one that said, let me find it here. It's that ODNR grant that would be applicable for us. And that grant is a 50% match for parks and recreation areas. So what we would do is we would work with, we'd complete this application and go to them, and they decide, we may not get it.
Yeah.
And if we did, we would work with these kids, this MBA program to write the grant.
What university or what school is, I mean?
I have no idea.
Where do the professors come? We don't know any of that, huh?
It wasn't in the letter, and I haven't even asked, so.
But I mean, I'm assuming it must be local, right?
Oh, yeah,
I mean-
yeah.
Okay. But
Because it's interesting, it was in,
So this is the one where, the ODNR, you said, is the one we're
the
looking at?
Land and Water Conservation
Yeah.
Grant?
yes.
This one.
Yeah, that's the 50% reimbursement.
Okay, thank you.
There's Kate.
No.
So I've already completed the application. We just have to agree to it, and I'll hit send tonight or tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, to
We got
apply-
nothing to
to
lose.
apply for this.
Yes,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
apply to be, so these kids would write the grant for us.
Right. Well, apparently, though, we kind of have to
So-
work with them and talk to them.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
So at this point, do we have to know our monetary amount we're asking for, or,
we do.
okay?
We have.
And-
Well, I mean, I'm just,
Well, but they probably, I mean, it sounds to me like, it's a whole program for them to really get to sort of do a deep dive into this.
I know.
I imagine they're really gonna, they would help generate numbers
But-
and everything
Right,
else.
but they're not.
Oh, and that's
but
all
not-
part of,
Yeah.
But they're not free labor, as it's pointed out in the letter, that they're not.
No, I mean, we have
No.
to work with them,
Right.
and I would say, based upon what we've done so far, we're a perfect candidate for this.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of the plans, we've got clienters, we've got a budget, we've raised over $1 million, so, we're a perfect candidate for this. And frankly, if we get a 50% match, we're done, almost. We're just about done.
Yeah.
And we've got everything paid for, so,
It does say though, Randy, I think that there's only gonna be 4 projects chosen.
correct.
Yeah, so, I mean, we're kind of.
Who's on the selection committee? Is it ODNR?
No, I think this is Hamilton County Development. This is Steve Jobs and that
No,
group.
but
Steve
part
Jobs,
of the
Steve,
question, right?
Steve Johns.
Are you answering about the MBA program, writing the,
No. Oh,
I'm asking Randy, so,
Okay.
because you're asking about the ODNR grant.
Oh, I don't know. I know that Landsman's office has agreed to write a letter of recommendation for this.
okay.
For us, I mean.
For us.
Yeah, on
So
our
s-
behalf, yeah.
But since
They've agreed to do one to, at some point, Hamilton County Development Corp., they've got those CPAC grants. At some point, we need to get those done, and he said they would also write one for that.
Yeah.
Who makes the decision on these grants?
I don't know.
Okay.
You mean the ODNR grant?
Well, you can click on the link.
I know that when we got the other ODNR grant, we got the letter from Representative Catherine Ingram, so we could reach out to her as well.
Okay.
And I've talked to her a couple of times about other stuff.
Can't hurt.
Well, and there's a link. It looks like there's a link in here if we wanted to look for some more information.
Okay. Well,
So I'll hit send.
all right, Kate, we sort of skipped over you just the teeniest bit, but if you are prepared and ready, we are more than happy to see what you, well, it looks like she's. Oh, well, okay, then you can move it over.
We need to put a seal in front of it.
Well, you can put the stuff in front, yeah.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
want the microphone.
Well, you could help her get it out.
You're right, he is no help at all.
You're,
So, I apologize, I have some notes here I wanted to have a look at. So, as you know, I was commissioned by the village to produce this wonderful painting of Mariemont to celebrate the centennial. And since it was not long for this world and quickly went off to a patron, I decided to make this canvas replication for you of the original painting.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, that is,
And would love it
oh.
if you could hang it somewhere where people can.
we'll just take down a couple of these old mayors.
Yeah. Yeah, take down Johnny, we take down Johnny Bench, put it up there.
Oh, I'd be happy to trade. Joint venture. But anyway, I really do appreciate you giving me the opportunity.
well, that is so
Thank-
nice. That
thank
is
you
so
so
nice.
much.
That's really
Being an
nice.
outsider, you know, living in Milford and everything, I was extremely flattered and humbled that you would allow me to do such a wonderful project. So,
I really think that the mayor's office is the proper place to supply the
Wall space.
Okay,
the
this is a
setting.
photo op.
Photo op.
and I can take the wrapping off if you like. I just wanted to.
One of the really fun things about Kate's painting is there's all kinds of Easter eggs in there. There's all these little hidden things. And if
Oh.
you look with a magnifying glass,
Do you have one?
very good.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
One
And
of
it's
the-
not very heavy, so it's,
Oh, that's perfect. Do you have one in the front?
yeah.
Okay.
so happy.
But that was,
So I have something else I'd like to talk
Wait,
about. I can bend your
I'll
ears.
show you.
Put that right, that's fine.
Sure. While I was working on this project, I'm part of an organization called the Masterworks for Nature. And what we are is we're a group of artists that help further conservation by producing artwork that would help some of these organizations reach some of their goals. Currently, we are having a show at Isley Gallery right here in the village to raise money for Raptor Inc., just as an example. So while I was working on this project, we went to visit Isley Gallery after a meeting one day, and on the way there, Brett Harper, son of Charlie Harper, who some of you may know was a very famous local artist, and actually nationally very well known also. But Brett caught up with me and bent my ear about possibly working on a project to have a mural of this painting done here in a central location. And I understand that there are many hurdles to have something like that happen, having to, follow rules about how things are displayed and where they can be displayed. And after I left the meeting with Brett and after I left Isley Gallery, I can't sit still. So I had to go drive around town. And I'm like, well, just for fun, let's see if that were even a possibility, to have something like that done here. And I saw little buildings, along the side of actually the building that Isley Gallery is. And I'm like, no, that's too small. And then I took a turn down toward the Fair's house, and I caught the elementary school out of the side of my eye. And there is a perfect, huge canvas. I mean, that is not in the plain public view, so it wouldn't be something imposing as people come into town. But people who like taking tours of the city, Mariemont would be an awesome stop on that tour. And the organization that could make such a thing happen is Artworks. Artworks here in Cincinnati employs students and interns who are pursuing careers in the fine arts. So they are compensated fairly for their work, and it helps give them a good start, good work ethic, while making these wonderful things happen. And they do almost all of the downtown murals. Yes, they are yes. And they have tours, and it's just a great way to connect to, more communities around the city. And I was flattered that Brett even thought that my work was worthy to be part of such a project. So I ask that you would consider that, and I am happy to help Artworks in any way that I can, and that would include finding an investor for funding to actually make this thing happen. I'm happy to help. They do have their own managers for the project, so I don't have to be there on site while this thing is happening every step of the way. But what I would do is I would actually help them break down the image to simplify it so that they can put it on a mural. And it's a very well thought out, sophisticated process. And a friend of mine, Ann Geisey, who's another member of our group, recently did a mural in Madisonville, so I got a little taste of how it happens. But I am happy to check in as often as you like, or as often as Artworks would like, to make sure that this is, keeping in line with what your wishes are.
Yeah, you would actually, you would design it? You would design what the...
Well,
It would be
the
a-
work
it would
is
be-
done.
it would be a-
The work is done, but to help set them up and to help keep eyes on it, I would help make sure that everything is running smoothly and that they're not, doing anything that they shouldn't be doing. But I haven't had
So
any
they'd be
meetings with
replicating your
them.
work, basically.
I'm sorry?
Would be replicating maybe a.
They would be
more
replicated.
simplified-
So basically from what I understand, what they do is they take the artwork and they actually grid it off. And then they give the artist score. There's a master artist that actually outlines everything. And then they give the individual artists that are working on the project a square or so many squares. And they do their part. And there is a manager that oversees everything to make sure that it's coming together correctly.
What's the dimension on this?
The dimension, the actual size.
Yeah.
I don't know what the standard is, but from what I've seen of the buildings around town that they've been doing, that building on the side of the elementary school looks to be about perfect.
About right?
It was like,
Is it on the back or is it on the side?
it's actually on the
That
side.
faces Plainville? Or?
Yes, is that the street that the Farrer's House
Yes.
and Dale Park and
Yes.
everything are?
Yeah.
Yes, so it would be on that
Okay.
side, I believe the eastern side. Or, I'm sorry, western side, yes.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Brett was so enthusiastic that he immediately emailed a colleague that works there at Artworks, and they passed around the idea and said we, have been interested in doing something in the village of Mariemont, but understand that there are, limits to what they're allowed to do.
I was wondering where she was.
Yeah,
We all kind of,
I'm gonna run out of synonyms, or
Of course,
synonyms
that's
here.
a school building,
Yep.
obviously we'd have to work through the school to get permission, on
Right.
one of their buildings, aside from, our own hoops or something like that. But I do feel like this is something that we could definitely move forward and start to investigate, to see what the actual feasibility would be of doing something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I really thought a couple of things. One, I thought that the production and the ending of this project could be a nice extension and end cap to the centennial celebration. This would just be kind of like punctuation at the end, and you could have the town crier come out and have the community come out and have a dedication, and I was just kind of spitballing with David over at Isley Gallery about maybe even having some of the kids participate by leaving a couple of trees to where they could actually make them out of handprints, and there's a lot of possibilities, and it could even become a little bit of a fundraiser. Maybe families would want to, donate $50 or $100 to have a family hand on that tree or something. So,
No, it's a great idea.
but
Is that a this summer thing? What is the?
no.
timeline
So
on something
it's,
like
I
this?
want to say it takes about a year because you need, they would need to find a sponsor. And that's, something I'm happy to help facilitate. Any way that you need me to help. I don't ask for anything. I just want very much to see something like this happen because I think it would just be beautiful for the community. So anything that I can do to help facilitate that.
All right.
So really, our next step is to agree to it and to agree to a location that we're for it. And
The next
then
step would
we
be to
go to
review,
Artworks.
yes, with the
Okay.
Preservation Foundation to find out, well, we need to watch for A, B, and C while this is happening. Then the next step would be to talk to Artworks and say, we're interested in this. What do we do next? And we understand that we need to have, like a sponsor or something like that. To make this happen, because the funds don't just come out of thin air. And one of my thoughts was finding out who some of the people were that actually bid on the original artwork to see if they would be interested in sponsoring.
yeah.
And we could find a way to, attach their name to it, through PR, but maybe
Sure.
even also have their name at the bottom with a dedication of the mural.
Let me ask you this. I don't know whether this happens on all the projects, but would it be possible, or maybe this is just something that you would do, to get a rendering? Let's say we're going to go with that school building site over there, so that we would have, an elevation rendering of the school building itself, sort
Okay.
of showing, the size and scale, and what it would look like in order to,
Talk them into it.
I think that's something we can do, and even if they can't, I can.
Well, I mean, my point would be obviously to have something visual like that, to be able to, and I hate to have to use this term, but to sort of sell the idea. You've got to be able to present, this is what we're talking about, you hold it up, kind of a thing. That would
Yeah.
help enormously.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we can do that. I mean, at the minimum, I can take a photo of the building site and impose the graphic on there.
Yeah.
Just to have that when you're selling the idea
Yeah.
around.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that's.
No, not at all. No, I just couldn't think of another word fast enough.
Right. I know we're talking about art here.
Right.
It sells
Yeah.
itself.
It sells itself, yeah.
It's its own quiet statement, and we don't want to.
Yeah,
But I'm just
yeah.
saying, yeah, but I mean, even, it wouldn't have to be something, that you would do by hand per se, but like you say. it
Oh,
can be
no,
done
no.
Photographically in some
Conceptually,
way.
Yeah, no, it would be nothing that I'd have to go to great
Yeah,
lengths to
yeah.
produce. No, not at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that would be something like that possibly would, if we could maybe get together and talk about that and how that's going to get done.
Sure.
That would help to, move us along.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I'm more than willing to be involved in that,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I like the, love the idea.
And since we talked, I've walked around and looked at other locations, and that's really,
Kind
I
of
mean,
spot.
maybe it's just because you said it originally.
Plan the
But I've looked
idea.
at other spots, I'm like, So
Yeah.
I'm not, I urge you, if, I'm clearly not married to any of this.
Yeah.
Not married to that location, but since we talked and I've been when I walk, I think that might be the optimal spot.
Spot.
But again, it belongs to MSD, so
Yeah,
we'd
sure.
have to talk to Steve and
All right,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, get the.
So that's all I've got.
All
It's
right,
just,
well, thank
you
you,
can
thank you.
think
Thank
about
you.
that, let it stew, and in the meantime, I will come up with that graphic for you.
Okay, oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really great.
Yeah.
All right. Can't thank you enough.
Totally clear on the next step.
So the next step there's, I guess, a couple of steps that have to happen simultaneously. I will get your graphic to you so that you can present that next, and then see if we have the approval to go to Artworks, and make it start happening.
Well, and we, of course, would have to go to the school, but you.
Yeah, yes.
But if we
That
have
too,
to.
but again,
have
With the
something,
graphic.
yeah.
rendering.
Yeah, yeah.
I gotta have that.
So,
Yeah.
so what we're saying is you're on point to get the approval from the ARB
School,
and the superintendent.
and, yeah, and there may be
the board may need to.
a couple other hoops in
Okay,
here.
so the ARB and the superintendent are the two,
Just say the schools.
okay, the
Schools.
schools, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
The ARB and the schools are the two areas we need approval from.
that I can think of right off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's gotta be something else here, I would imagine.
So what is what is our role in all of this?
Well, our role essentially is to, I think we as a group would like to see the rendering also, to say, is this something that we really want in this village? And,
So
I
we're-
think our approval would be, somewhere in
All
the
right, yeah.
mix.
To proceed.
Yeah.
So do you want us, I'm just asking, this is a process. So at this time, then we vote collectively as a body to approve it.
To approach, I'm assuming then the next step after that would be go to the
Okay.
schools, go to the ARB. But if first thing is
Got
for
it.
us to say, okay, because
We'd like to do it.
Okay, so once we have the rendering, that's what we'll vote on, and then, okay,
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank
and-
you.
And I'll need just a couple of weeks on that because my family's getting ready to leave.
Oh,
town.
yeah.
Yeah, they're waiting.
That's entirely, yeah,
okay.
entirely,
Is that,
yeah.
but that's not, is that a formal vote? Is that a motion? What is that?
Well, I don't know. I would think it could just be a show of hands. I mean, you know, is this something we want to do?
That's the
You-
solicitor.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you think?
I think you better have a formal vote on it, because you gotta give notice to the people. Some people might not want that
Right.
in school.
So have a resolution?
Not, yeah,
You're saying?
I think so.
Okay.
I mean,
All
I
right.
can't imagine that, but some people might not like it. you
Okay,
know.
so the next step is,
We show the, you know, the
Render.
graphic. I mean, that's part of it. Invite the community in, get opinions.
what do you think we should do?
Well, is it an opinion, to change it, or is it yes, we go, or no, we go? 'Cause I don't want people coming in and going, well, I like it, but I'd like you to tweak
No,
that
no, no.
just a
They're
little
not
bit,
gonna come in
maybe
to
move
change
it."
the artwork. Basically,
Right,
we're
just yes or no.
presenting, this is the
Kind of
idea.
a go, no go.
Go, no,
Yeah,
go.
yeah, exactly.
Is that covered in the community input portion of our work? So if we just put it on the agenda for council?
And then you could publicize it through the emails
Yeah.
and stuff like
yeah,
that.
I
Well, we-
think
we
the
could have a
ARB would
committee
have
meeting.
to approve it, because
You
the
know, like
ARB
public
would
work,
approve
whatever,
it,
but
and
we could have one
would
committee meeting.
ultimately have to approve it also.
I'm so
How do you-
confused.
Whatever.
So Ed, ARB first or council first?
ARB first.
Okay, so so then the design,
Well, it could be a two-step process. Number one,
You see what you're causing?
let's get
I
the
love causing
rendering.
trouble.
get the
On
rendering.
that one, we'll do a show of hands if council is approving it.
Okay, show of hands.
And then,
Okay.
once we get further along, get the school's approval, then I say we hold a public meeting to make sure that the community
Okay.
is
Yeah.
aware of this. Because you know how people here are pretty persnickety about maintaining the aesthetics that
Yeah.
existed 100 years
Okay.
ago. And I don't believe there were any murals on the walls
Okay.
100 years ago, were there?
So
Could be
just,
wrong.
I'm a repeater just for clarity's sake. So we get the rendering, the mayor goes to both the ARB and schools first. We do a show of hands to make sure we're comfortable with the mayor going. Mayor goes to ARB and schools first. We get ideally approval and comes back for a formal resolution here that includes community input.
Yeah, school first, then ARB. Because if the school would nix it, and they would have the right to nix it, because it's their building, and then
Okay.
it's dead.
Okay, school first, ARB, then us, in an open
Well,
council
then the
meeting.
community has got to be in that equation someplace.
Well, by us,
Yeah,
I
well,
mean the
that's when it
community.
comes for us for a vote, you know. Of
Yeah.
course, you know, nobody pays attention to what we publish, do they?
So, some people
Oh,
do,
you'd be
Do it in a
surprised.
council
Yeah,
meeting. I
people
don't
do
think that's
do.
a separate meeting.
yeah. We
Yeah,
just,
we do it in a council meeting. But, you know,
You
how many
mean
times have we
allow-
passed
You mean
resolutions?
just those who would show up in the
where we
gallery
give-
to basically have input?
Well, I mean, we're having the meeting anyway, right? You want to have a separate meeting just for that?
I don't know.
No.
I mean, I don't know, yeah.
That was quick.
I think Susan's right on the
Those are
process.
details that can be worked out. We get that, look, we get that far along with it, I think we're,
Yeah.
Katie,
we're more than.
rendering
halfway there.
first,
Yeah.
okay?
Yes.
Then-
Rendering first
Then
and
the laboring
also-
orders in his court. He goes to the school.
Okay.
If the school says yes, then we come back, take it to the ARB. The ARB says it's okay, then we present it to council for a full vote.
Okay,
For the formal vote, yeah.
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 And we include community input, so we.
Well, the ARB is an open public meeting. and
Oh,
we-
then
We will
done.
obviously
Yeah, sure.
announce what it is we're going to be discussing there. And if the residents wish to show up for that, of course, they
Perfect.
can come
Okay.
in
Yeah,
and make
that's perfect.
commentary
That's a
then.
great time to
Good
do it.
solution. Okay, thank you, Ed.
So,
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't do anything.
all right, so,
so,
There we are. Next steps.
the other thing I wanted to mention is I could reach out to one of those individuals, sorry about that, from Artworks and ask them to come to a meeting when I bring the graphic to you.
Oh, that
If
could
you'd
be-
rather me
that
bring
could
it
be
to you
helpful,
here.
yes.
As a group to pass it
Especially
around,
the
and then
ARB,
they
that could
can
be- could be
provide
helpful,
information about
yes.
the timeline.
Well, timeline and any other technical question that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that group may have, yeah, that could be very,
Yeah.
very, very useful.
And this wouldn't be the only project that they're working on at one time, so it could take up to a year for the whole thing to come together.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
but yeah,
No.
I will work on that, and if there's anything else that you need in the meantime, you guys have my number.
And that's Colleen at Artworks.
Colleen, yes, yes. I was gonna say Colleen, but I couldn't remember her last name.
I know her maiden name. I knew her years
Okay.
and years ago, so do hers. But yes, she should know me, so.
All right,
Getting that in
All right.
there.
Thank you
that's
so
all.
Thank
much.
you.
Thank
Thank you
very
very
much.
much.
Nice to see you again.
Wonderful.
You too.
Thank you.
enjoy the artwork. Would you
Thank
like
you.
me to stay, be a warm body?
No. We can't
We're good.
perform without an audience.
Hey, it's all or nothing in here.
Yeah. It's,
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. I know everyone has their own lives and busy schedules, so thank you for listening to me.
Oh, no.
We are very grateful. Thank you for your gift.
No.
All right, great. Yeah, they did great work. Artworks does.
All right,
lovely.
I think we're at permission to address council, and there doesn't appear to be anyone here. And so we have no committee reports tonight, correct?
We need to pay the bills.
Can I skip?
What?
Hey, Joni said those cages membership, so every department has to have its own membership, huh? We can't have like one for just the village?
It's one, but we just separate.
Oh,
the-
split it?
the-
Okay,
The
got it.
No.
Thank you.
cost out.
Allocate, yeah.
Got it, thank you.
All right, yes. Pay the bills. Any question regarding the bills, please? I know I'm not supposed to ask, but
Well, Rob had his question.
is there a question?
Or what?
Joni got it. Yep.
So moved.
Got it? All right, a motion and a second to pay the bills.
So moved.
Second.
Oh, somebody got it? Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Brown Knight?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Or Mr. York?
Aye.
All right, we'll pay the bills. All right, like I said, no committee reports, miscellaneous. Village fireworks will be held Monday, July the 3rd, beginning at dusk, of course. Village offices will be closed in observance of Independence Day, Tuesday, July the 4th. The budget hearing, the budget hearing will be held 5:30 on Monday, July the 10th. That'll be right before the regular council meeting. Is that all we had miscellaneous, just the three items, I guess?
What was the question?
We only had the three items there tonight?
Yep.
I think so.
I know this is gonna break your heart, but I might not be able to go to the fireworks. I will be non-ambulatory.
I'll wheel you over.
Wheel you over.
I'll come pick
Will
you up
ya?
in my truck.
Ooh. And you're a kidnap fan?
I could put you in a rocking chair that that is Steve's on. Take your turn. Like Mary Crampton.
You sound enthusiastic, Kelly.
There you go. On the
Except you're
roof.
much younger.
All right, we have two resolutions.
Okay, you ready?
Yes, we're ready.
This is the first reading to repeal Resolution Number R 1423 pertaining to a renewal of the 3.08 mil tax levy for generating general operating expenses, and to enact a new resolution pertaining to the renewal of the 3.08 mil tax levy in excess of 10 mil limitation for general operating expenses for the tax years of 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026, and 2027, and to declare emergency.
All right, we've had the first reading. I need a motion and a second to suspend the rules and allow for the second and third reading.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Mrs. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Excuse me, Dr. Lewis. Mrs. Rankin.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
May we have the second reading?
Okay, to repeal Resolution Number R 1423 pertaining to a renewal of a 3.08 mil tax levy for general operating expenses, and to enact a new resolution pertaining to the renewal of a 3.08 mil tax levy in excess of 10 mil limitation for general operating expenses for the tax years of 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026, and 2027, and to declare emergency.
All right, that was the second reading. This discussion, everybody, are we all clear? Do we understand? Ed, do you want to make any comment about this?
Just really what we call, I guess to joke around with those scrivener's errors, because everything I did was a scrivener's error. But
Okay.
we just made a mistake on the years, that's all.
Okay. May we have the third reading?
Okay, to
And the good news is we thoroughly vetted it with
Vetted it.
both the prosecutor's office, the Board of Election, and the auditor's office.
Okay, okay.
Okay, to repeal Resolution Number R 1423 pertaining to a renewal of 3.08 mil tax levy for general operating expenses, and to enact a new resolution pertaining to the renewal of the 3.08 mil tax levy in excess of 10 mil limitation for general operating expenses for the tax years of 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026, and 2027, and to declare emergency.
All right, I need a motion and a second to adopt, please.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown Knight?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right, I need a motion and a second to evoke the emergency clause.
So moved.
Second.
Second, please.
Second.
Susan. Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Brown Knight?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right,
Okay,
that's done.
okay. This is the first reading to accept bid of Envision and to authorize contract and to declare emergency.
All right, we've had the first reading. I need a motion and a second to suspend the rules and allow for the second and third reading.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
May we have the second reading, please?
To accept bid of Envision and to authorize contract and to declare emergency.
All right, this is discussion. Are we all-
Is there, yeah, I just, one question.
Sure.
The contract references an Exhibit A. Do we have what that exhibit is? Not the resolution, the contract.
Yeah.
Is that,
Talking this.
Exhibit A is the proposal.
is that what
The
this is then?
proposal.
The updated one that they sent to you, Bill? This is
Yes.
The entire proposal.
addendum
And
December
the,
13th?
and the, that is an addendum to the original proposal that you
Okay,
have a copy
so
of.
this one that you handed.
Both documents combined.
Okay, got it. So that is Exhibit A, or these two
Yes.
things? Perfect. Because I just want to make sure I understood the deliverables, in terms of what exactly they're going to do and by when. And so, in looking at this, it looks like the schedule is, it's about a 10-month process? Is that what?
I think it's gonna be a little bit, less than that.
Oh, okay,
And we may scale down some of the community involvement, that's part of the flexibility
okay,
involved. But, we have a verbal agreement with regard to that.
okay. Good. I mean, faster's better. So, okay, good. That was
we
just my
good?
one question, just to see. So that's helpful. Thank you for handing that out last time, because I went through all of that before coming here tonight, so got it.
All right, may we have the third reading?
To accept bid of Envision and to authorize contract and to declare emergency.
A motion and a second to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right. I need a motion and a second to evoke the emergency clause, please.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight?
Aye.
And Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right. All right. All right, as always, does anyone wish to make comments about the task list?
Should we be putting the number 2 on the list, the boathouse, should we be putting that same August date that we talked about for the funding to apply for a grant, the historic preservation grant?
And that is strictly for the boathouse? Is that what
Well-
the plan is?
There was, remember, it was like Trellis, boathouse,
Yeah.
and the feels, the thought was maybe the boathouse actually might have a better chance because it's more of a historic structure.
Right.
We can go ahead and put the date if you want to. I've been looking over the stuff that Randy sent me, regarding those historical grants. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more looking there, but, that boathouse unfortunately is not, of historical significance enough. It's at first pass, that's what it seems like.
Okay.
That it maybe, it probably is not eligible for that kind of a grant.
If you need any help with research at MPF, I know somebody. who can
I know,
help.
well, it's funny, that was my thought, that was gonna be my next stop over there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sure she would be happy to help
yeah,
out.
because the way I'm reading it, what the grant would require in order to get, something like that. I'm
So the trellises might have a better chance, you think, or? Oh, okay. Well, again, if you need help doing research,
yeah,
feel free to contact MPF.
okay, well, that could be helpful, yeah. All right, anybody else got, as we go down the list? Randy, where are we? I know you had probably last contact with the charging stations?
Yeah, they're still working with Duke to get some final, I guess, capacity of what they can do.
Do.
So. as soon as
So
they
this is
get that-
charging stations, not the island.
Yeah, this is a charging station. I'll give you an update.
Number
in a second.
15,
Okay.
is that
Cool.
right?
Yeah,
And then one of them is on private property, so one of them is for the Spinnenweber
Spinnenweber,
property.
yeah, yeah.
And that actually is probably the most promising as far as being attractive for funding.
So should 15 be charging stations? instead of stages?
Stages, oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah, it should be, probably should be stations, yeah, should be
So,
stations.
so we have one at our house, could we have people pay to
Sure,
charge their car at our house?
yeah.
That may be a problem.
The name of that person to pay, I
Side
think,
gig
is,
there.
his name is Gordon. He'll pay.
I don't know who you're talking about.
And just a quick update on the electrification of the medians. The Duke subcontractors have been there. They have the vaults in the ground. So the electric is actually there, but of course now the next step is to get it up out of the ground. I've been in contact with the electrician that's going to do that part of the project. And as that begins to move along, then Scherpenberg, myself, and Mr. York will be doing some of the trench work to lay the
Excellent.
Oh, I
That's a
want-
photo op.
Oh, I want to see that.
I must have missed that.
I know. Who
Are you
nominated
smiling
you
there?
for that? Somehow
Well,
it was there.
that's-
Well, then right after you're done with that, then you can go to the dunking booth.
Where are we on the dunking booth?
Well, you know,
Wait,
the
I
our
missed
insurance
that
company
meeting.
is not too.
No, but Paul said, I thought Paul was good with it, no?
Paul,
Good with
I
the
really need to
water.
talk to
Yeah,
him.
did you guys talk about it Thursday?
No, it was
Yeah.
not mentioned.
I'll reach out to him tomorrow.
Yeah, he was kind of leaning, I'm not really sure, yeah.
Well, are we, there are concerns from an insurance standpoint?
Yeah, our insurance company basically nixed the
Nixed it,
idea.
yeah.
Yeah,
The
But
dunking-
theirs did not. Theirs was okay.
MPFs did not,
yeah.
What is this for?
bully for them.
The dunking booth.
At the MPF.
Obviously, sorry.
The dining thing where they tasted it.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, Randy was sending an email.
$5 for 3 throws.
Now, that's for the average guy. If the mayor gets up there, it's $10.
It's
for
10
the-
Surcharge.
Yeah, there's a surcharge. Yeah. All right, well,
Okay.
we're not really sure about that just yet.
How does the website, I'm assuming this is a website update? Village website, is that an update? What is that?
Well, that's,
Well,
so,
no, go ahead.
okay,
Yeah.
so, Eli had said if we were gonna switch, you need to allow 6 months. So, Chuck and Bill are working on looking at an assessment. So by October of this year, we have to decide, are we staying with eGov? Or are we going someplace else?
Okay.
Or not? So-
Thank you.
So there's enough time left over to actually make a transition if we choose to make a change.
Well, it kind of sounds like something's going to have to be done there, but,
That Civic Plus was the other one who was really a strong provider.
yeah.
Okay.
The last time we did the RFP.
Who does, who's the City of Cincinnati's website?
Don't know. eGov was good when we started, but then they got acquired and all this other stuff, and Eli
Right.
has just said it's really gone downhill in
Okay.
terms of the support that they're receiving, so.
Okay.
The city's website seems nice, that's why.
Well, the city, they probably got their own in-house people, don't they?
I don't know how, I don't know if there's criteria.
It's pretty much off the shelf. I would think you'd just go outsource it, you know?
Okay.
The bones,
Yeah.
and then you can add
And
stuff
then you
on.
build up from there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? No?
Nope.
Nope. All right, we're adjourned.
All right.
Thank you.